Oh, the recording has already started. Wild. Okay. Hello. Hello, hello. Um, I wanted to start with a quick note on what um kind of my future plans are for things I want to create. And then we're gonna get to the actual main topic of today, which as this video might, I don't know, it kind of implied that it might be a how-to. This is not a how-to. I've been watching a lot of self-help videos lately. And I wanted to try to put that into practice and also record myself doing that because I want to be able to come back a year from now and be like, okay, well, this is where we started. This is where we tried our best or started trying our best again. And I'm going to see how far we go. So yeah, this is a putting into practice before you start your self-improvement journey, a personal version of that. So I'm not going to go too much into detail exactly, but yeah, before we get there, however, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on another current moment and what I want to do in the future. So when I recorded the first couple of things that I did and I posted them, I meant them to be a method for me to record myself, see how I speak, see how I hold myself when I speak, and figure out how I can improve my voice and the way I carry myself and things along those lines. And the reasons that I picked those topics that I did were that I run a disability advocacy club, and that question of how do I apply to grad school as a person with a disability came up. And I had replied to that person, or like we talked about it a little bit, but it's more like, okay, I was like, okay, this is a good topic that maybe other people might want to listen about. And obviously it's something I have experience with because I'm a grad student with a disability, particularly in STEM. So I did that and it was good. And I was like, okay, great, we've done this. We recorded a video and then I did it again. And and then I really sat down for a second and I was like, girl, why on earth this idea of improving my voice and this idea of practicing with my voice? Why do I even want to do that? What purpose am I trying to improve my voice for? And after I sat down and thought about it, it actually went back to that. It was still with disability advocacy because I want to be a voice for that. Um, and I wanted to talk about it and I wanted to learn more about it and I wanted to share what I learned. And that's what I wanted to do, right? But then I had a moment where I was like, why do I need to wait until I have a so-called good voice? Which, like, first of all, what does that even mean? Especially for like person to person, like what does it mean for me to have a good voice? And yeah, why do I even need to wait? Why can't why can't that journey getting to that good voice be a good learning opportunity and a good sharing opportunity? Because, I realized recently as well that one of the things that I want to be not like known for exactly, but like one of the things that is really important to me, it always has been, but it's becoming more and more of a priority in my life, is being a disability advocate, informing people about, what's going on in the world today when it comes to disability rights and, kind of the social aspect of disability. What is that experience like for myself and for others? And the crux of it all is, I want to create a world, I want to be part of that movement to create a world where people like me can walk outside of our doors and not feel stigmatized, not feel like people are staring at us or judging us, or, taking that otherness out of it, making it just another aspect of identity that a person has. Um, And in order to do that, we need to know what the past was, like how did we even get this far? So I currently live in the US, yeah. And so we have laws surrounding disability, but how did those even come into place? Like the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, for example. Like I know generally about these things, but in order to make progress, we need to know how we even got here. So I wanted to kind of go on that journey and learn more about that, and in the process share more about it too. So I think I want to use some of my future content, make more content, I think. I phrased that so weirdly. Oops. I want to start making more directed content, because thus far when I had originally started this, I was just gonna be like, okay, every time I make a video, I'm just gonna sit here, pick a topic and talk about it. I want to improv, which like improv speaking is another thing that I want to work on, but more directed content is in my future. And I really hope that if somebody is watching this and is interested in learning more, that you stick around for this learning journey that we're about to go on. In addition to that, I also wanted to start talking more about fun things too, because frankly, I have a lot of important people in my life. I have a lot of good, not a lot, but I have friends. I hope. That also came out weird. I have friends, but I don't necessarily always feel super great about sharing my interests and talking about myself and what I like. Um, So I want to practice that as well. So we're going to start talking about fun stuff too. So for the end of this little video, I'm actually planning to talk a little bit about a show that I'm really excited is coming out. It's starting to come out tomorrow, season 2 of it, which is Arcane. So we'll be talking about that momentarily at the very end. Because before that, which is now let's move into our actual topic of today, which is a moment to reflect before going on a self-improvement journey. I kind of wanted to sit here and talk about that today. So today was not planned as well. I just want to clarify. This is not a planned out video. I'm just going to be talking today. But what I meant was in the future, if I choose a topic related to disability, that will be planned and more directed, more researched, I should say. So what this part is going to be, as I mentioned, is not a how-to. It's going to be more of a self-roast session in which I roast myself and remind myself of all the areas in my life that I want to work on. And then right after that, we're going to talk about what I have done thus far in terms of preparing myself to work on these things that I want to work on. What have I done good so far? And then what steps I'm planning to take in the future to start on this self-improvement journey. So to preface all of this, I've been watching, as I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but a lot of self-help videos. So that's why this is not a how-to, because so many other people have already explained all of this so well. And they gave a lot of really good advice on how to identify areas of your life that you want to work on, and then how to reframe them to make it less of a, hey, this is something that I'm lacking, and I'm just going to feel bad about this thing that I'm lacking. And how do you frame it now as a, okay, this is something that is realistically within my reach, and it's something that I don't have yet, but it's going to be in my future because I'm going to be the one who's going to work and make it happen, right? So the areas we're going to cover, we're going to start with physical stuff, then mental stuff, which also is going to encompass academics and career. And then we'll talk about, I'm going to call it spiritual. That's not a number of 3. Spiritual, which I'm going to be more meaning as like my connection to myself, the world around me, the people around me, nature, etc. So I'm not necessarily going to be like talking about spirituality isn't spirituality, but I didn't really know another way to, maybe human connection, maybe connection of self to others. I don't. Okay. Anyways, let's start this roast session, which is basically gonna be like me exposing myself, but in a manner that I hope um reminds people out there that everyone is kind of a mess and it's okay. It is okay to be a mess. I'm also gonna take a moment to try to There we go. Now I'm a little more lit up. Okay. Okay. This is also really weird. It's the first time that I'm recording a video like by just recording it. I normally do like a really simple, nobody comes to these by the way, it's just me, myself, and I, but like I usually stream on Twitch and then download that and then upload that. Or that's what I've been doing thus far. But now I'm trying to just video record and it's just my laptop computer or laptop camera. So I hope this is catching it. It's also my laptop microphone. So I really hope that I don't have to re-record all of this because that would suck. Anyways, on to the roast. The roast. Physically, the areas that I want to work on. Oh, there's so many things. There's so many things. Let's start with the kind of biggest thing. So, I have a physical disability, yes. The gist of it is that my skeletal muscles are a little weaker, just a little bit. Well, that's a relative term, but they're generally weaker than a conventional able-bodied person. Okay. However, I feel like recently I hesitate to use the word lazy because that's not true, but more sluggish. I've been feeling more lethargic, feeling very specifically like a slime mold, which is an organism I know very little about, but I imagine that me and a slime mold are very similar. I feel like I'm just going through the motions most of the time and, you know, kind of growing in all directions. You know that like Tolkien or not, I don't know if it's actually Tolkien quote, but it was in the Lord of the Rings movies where Bilbo's like, I feel like butter spread over too much bread. Like that is the vibes that I have been feeling lately. I feel like I've been stretched thin. I'm so freaking tired. And that is not really an energy that I want to carry forward with me at all because I am actually pretty excited about things in my life nowadays and I want to have the energy to do them. I also feel like I have gotten kind of weaker, but not weaker because of my disability, but weaker as in I literally have not set foot inside of a gym for like 2 years weaker. Whereas like before that, it wasn't like I was a regular, gym girly or anything, but I would be going. And also to kind of give some context to all of this, I started graduate school 2 years ago. So I just started my third year of grad school and finished the first two. So after I started that, definitely there was more of an emphasis on that. I also moved away from home to do that too. Up until that, I did my undergrad right close to my home. So I had a lot of support from my family before this in terms of taking care of myself. So now I'm like on my own, right? And it becomes a lot harder to take care of yourself and be healthy when you're on your own. So that's kind of a little context as to why I felt like I've gone kind of on a downward trend over the last couple of years. Um, so yeah, I definitely haven't been going to the gym. I even like home workouts haven't really been doing because I felt like I haven't had the energy to do them. I feel like waking up in the morning is really hard for me, even if I've gone to bed at a somewhat reasonable hour the night before. So yeah, just a general real lack of energy, really lacking just like, yeah, just strength. Um, and also other parts physically, I feel like that's also kind of bled into self-care a little bit. Like I am still taking showers every day and I'm still washing myself. Like I'm the hygiene aspect is still seems to be doing okay, but it's more like simple things. Like, in Indian culture, we tend to oil our hair a lot. Haven't been doing that much. So my hair is showing signs of that. It's not as nice as it used to be. Um, my skin also feels like it's gotten kind of a little bit duller than before because maybe I feel like I haven't been eating as well. Which like that's definitely another thing I want to mention. I feel like my diet has gone way to the wayside. Um, I feel like it's not that I'm necessarily eating fast food, but it's not healthy food most of the time. Definitely doing more for convenience than for health, which are some choices I want to make differently from now on. Um, and I want to, oh, hydration is another really big thing. Actually, we're going to come back to hydration. Hydration, we're not going to talk about just yet. But what else am I doing? Going back to sleep, I am trying to sleep more at a reasonable hour, but it's not necessarily working very well these days. I feel like I have the tendency to spend a lot of time late at night doing things for fun, exactly. Just things that maybe that could wait until tomorrow. Okay. Things that could wait until tomorrow. And not sleeping super well all the time, which is not good. So, oh, yes. That was like physically me. Now let's talk a moment about physical environment. I wanted to keep, I had a thought, I was like, oh, maybe I should clean up and then record this. But then I was like, no. No, I want the you of a year from now, I want you to see you making changes. And like that, you need to see where you were at to really see what those changes were, right? There's a mess. There's so much. There's a mess everywhere. There's a mess everywhere here. My sink is currently very full. There's like tissues on my countertop over there. I still have coffee grounds that are in my coffee filter thingy from like yesterday because I bought coffee today and I didn't make it. My fridge is currently very empty. There's not many vegetables in there at the moment, except for frozen veggies, which, side note, very good for you to have if making food is difficult because you can steam them in the bag. And then obviously you can tell there's a pile of clothes right there. Those are actually clean clothes, by the way. That's my laundry that's been done. Um, and the only like fully clear surface right now in my entire room is literally my bed, which is not made at the moment either. Um, so yes, I have a lot to work on when it comes to keeping my surroundings clean because I do notice that I tend to have more of a clear brain, a clear mind, clear thought process when my surroundings are clean. So one of the major things I need to work on is keeping my surroundings clean. Okay, so that was all physicality. Next, we're going to mentally. And this is, yeah, again, going to include academics and other things. Mentally, I've also been feeling a bit like a slug lately. Reflecting the physical messiness and chaoticness of my environment, I feel like the inside of my brain has also been chaotic. Been feeling a little bit dull lately, a little bit like I'm not as strong of a learner as I used to be, not as motivated as before, just kind of going through a bit of a rough patch, which is okay. I realize now it's okay. But I am being honest. Like I want it to be super clear. Like, yeah, my brain was going a little numb after I got here. And I also feel like I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. But it's like there's a lot of stuff that I'm excited about and that I want to do. But there's almost like a little wall or something doing like, but not now. Or no, like you're not gonna do this now. Like there's some weird little thing going on in my brain that's like, oh, like you shouldn't be the one to do this. And like that's another reason why I'm recording this right now. Like, no, that voice can be quiet. Thank you. Even if just the one person listening to this is me, like that's enough. That's okay. Um, that was a weird side note. But yeah, there's just been some kind of rude voices in my head that need to shut up, frankly. Um, so there's that. And I've been talking about, going to counseling, going to therapy for a little while. And by a little while, I mean a pretty significant long while, but I haven't done that. I know that there are some things that I want to work through when it comes to growing up. Um, I'm probably gonna say this a ton, but like as a person with a disability, like there are some experiences that I've definitely had, somebody who's gone through some like rather harrowing medical times. Like, I'm very lucky to be here and where I am today. Like, but going through things like that when you're young, it's not it's not healthy to leave that unaddressed. And I don't think I really realized that until recently. So trying to get help for those things is something that I need to prioritize and planning to prioritize. So there's that. My voice feels like it's going a little scratchy right now. This is also weird because I know I mentioned like the whole I stream usually and then I upload it. The reason I stream is because I can also listen immediately to what my voice is sounding like in the speaker as I'm saying things. So now I can't do that and I'm just listening in real time and I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like not knowing what I sound like except to myself. It's weird. It's really weird. Okay. What else mentally? Ah, yes. So kind of all this is translating to me not feeling like I'm showing up as much as I want to for myself when it comes to being a graduate student and, doing my experiments, doing my intellectual work. Like I joined this program because I wanted to do research and I wanted to help people or not wanted, I want. Um, but yeah, I feel like my mental energy has not been going there as much as I need it to further my knowledge and work on technology that really will in my opinion help people. Yeah. So I want to kind of recenter my brain, recenter my focus. Speaking of focus, focus has been very hard lately. And I've not exactly been spending time on like fun things or like, like watching TV, for example. It's not even like I'm doing that either, and I'm not really enjoying myself, but it's more like I find that I need long periods of time. Like I'm spending a lot of time just doing nothing sometimes. And it's like I can't bring myself to do anything. So yeah, I just want to recenter my brain, recenter my focus, work through things that I want to work through, and then move on from there and relearn how to learn because I have a lot to learn. Physics is hard, biomechanics is hard, learning about the human body and robots is hard. It's all very hard. So I need my brain cells to get back in shape. Actually, that's a pretty big deal. I just need my brain and my body to just work together and get back in shape. And that's what we're going to work towards. Then let's talk about, lastly, this thing that I've termed or called like under the spiritual bracket, but my connection to myself and people around me and nature and such. This is actually another important point, but that's like a lot of these self-help videos and kind of glow up journey videos are all about, you're only going to be happy, or not only, but one way to be happy is by being your authentic self. But what does that even mean for me? Is a big question I've been having. Like, who even am I? I'm in my mid-20s right now, which I feel like is a really common age to be exploring this question. But yeah, like I just want to know like, what is driving me? What am I here for? How do I even answer that question? Because I actually do spend pretty large amounts of time by myself, with myself. And I still feel like I don't know anything about me. Like if you ask me who I am, I don't know how to answer that question. And I want to know how to answer that question. So I definitely want to be more honestly connected with myself and not connected with a version of myself that's like meeting the expectations of others and what others would think that, or yeah, what others would expect out of me. I don't want that anymore. I just want to know what I want. And how do I get what I want? I want that. I also I want to figure out more about how I convey myself to others. I mean, this is part of why I was doing the speaking practice, right? I wanted to see what impression others might be getting of me from the way I talk and carry myself. And I noticed that sometimes I don't necessarily present myself in a bad manner, but it's more like I don't really portray, I don't know how to phrase this. I'm not childish exactly, but I don't think I come across as a very serious and uptight person, which I think is fine. Um, like I think that I want to become a person who connects to others easily, is warm and caring, and is somebody who can give room to others and also give room to myself in a conversation. Um, so I think that I've worked on giving room to others when I communicate with them, and I've lost that ability to give room for myself. Which is why I'm deliberately trying to practice that nowadays. Like if somebody starts talking about things that they like, I'll be like, oh, that's actually super duper cool. And that reminds me of a similar thing that I liked, or being more honest about, I used to do this stupid thing where if somebody said that they didn't like something that I liked, then I would be like, oh, so maybe the thing that I liked isn't that cool after all. But now, like, really owning up to me, like, oh, okay, cool, that's your opinion. Actually, I like that thing, or, it's a small thing, small ways to establish yourself, or establish myself, I guess. I'm trying to work on that. Um, and be more honest, like when people ask you how I am. People ask me how I am. Sometimes I will try to be like, oh man, I'm so tired. I had this thing that I was working on. And then sometimes people ask more about it, like, oh, tell me more about what you're working on. Or, it's just really cool to be able to start connecting with others. I think I think now is a good time that I will start transitioning to the positives of what I've been working on. Um, but this is actually a really good, yeah, this is a good place to start transitioning to positives. I think I've covered most of the messes in my life. So the roasting is over. Let's smile. Let's be happy. Things are fine now. I think I've gone through most of this video without smiling. I don't like that. I'm naturally a smiley person. I need to smile. Okay. Oh, also let me take a drink of water because my throat is dry. Hold on. We're gonna talk about hydration in a second. Okay, let's keep going. I lost my entire train of thought just now. She just poofed. Ah, yes, connecting to others and the self. Yeah, it's just really great to have more like honest conversations with other people. And I'm also getting better about talking to strangers. And, you know, like today I complimented two random people on their outfits. And like one of them, it was like in an elevator and we just had like the 30 seconds to talk. But she actually told me like, oh yeah, I'm wearing this thing because I'm going to go, do this activity. And it's for a class. And like, I'm doing this for like this reason. And she didn't have to say that. There was like almost no reason for her to say that. But it felt super cool because now I've connected to her and I was like, whoa, that sounds amazing. It's like those moments, those small moments of human connection. I feel like now I'm finally realizing like, yeah, that's what living is all about, actually. Just those moments together with other people, which that gives me a lot of joy. It makes me more hopeful for the future because it means that there's just so many more people out there to meet now and so many more people to interact with and learn from and yeah, I don't know, just that moment today really, really made me happy. Um, and so it's like now I want to do it more. And now I just want to tell everybody how much I put some love into the world. Okay, that's it. We'll end that there. Okay, let's talk about hydration and other good things now. So one thing that I've also been really working on is hydration and drinking more water because everybody says you should drink more water. It's hard though. But I am going very, very slowly with this. I was somebody who did not drink any water at all until like the day before my 21st birthday. This is like, oh gosh, I'm really exposing myself here. I literally, I didn't faint exactly, but like I came so close to fainting that I took an ambulance ride to the ER over this. Yeah. And they were just like, nothing is wrong with you. You're just dehydrated. And I was so embarrassed and I was so just like, it was a lot. It was a lot. Okay. I was not doing so well in that moment in time. So ever since then, I have slowly been trying to be consistent about water intake. At least making sure that if I feel thirsty, I will drink water. But now I'm trying to be more like, okay, even when I'm not super thirsty, can I add a little more water to my existence? So I have graduated. The very first thing that I did was at least with meals, at least having just this one tiny little cup from like three of these per day. One with like whatever meal I'm having in the morning, or if I'm not having a meal in the morning, because frankly, I sometimes don't eat breakfast. That word sometimes is a lie. Many times I don't eat breakfast. That's another thing we're working on, okay? 3 square meals a day. But in the morning, one of these, and then with lunch, one of these, and then with dinner, one of these. I got there. I got to that point where I was doing that. Then the next thing I'm working on now, yeah, one of these per day. Just one. Or actually no. One of these per evening. I should say evening to night. Consistently. One of these. It's not even that much. Okay. One of those. And then I will normally, before I leave the room in the morning to go to work or whatever, I will have one of these. That is where I am at the moment. There is still a far, far ways to go. But at least now I'm consistently doing that and not just drinking no water and iced coffee instead. Okay. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Because that's also another thing I've been learning is that consistency in the smaller things is what's going to be key here. I am not the type of person who can make major changes and go from A to B like all at once. That is just never going to be me. So yeah, small, truly incremental changes. So after I get through one of these per day, I am next going to go to 1.5 of them, and then 1.5 to 2. Some days I actually do make it through 2 of these per evening. And then, yeah, so just trying to get that more and more consistent. I tend to forget to drink water when I'm at work. Even if I carry a water bottle and even if I like literally take it out and put it in front of me. So actually maybe instead of trying to do 2 of these per evening, I might be like, okay, 1 water bottle in the morning to afternoon and then finish this in the evening. Um, so yeah, that's kind of next steps on that. I also have gotten a little bit better about wearing sunscreen, which is good because protecting the skin is always beneficial. I don't want to get skin cancer. I also feel like my family and I are like susceptible to hyperpigmentation, which this camera is not really capturing any of it. But like, there are like little dots and stuff, like little dark spots. But it's also fine. Like it's okay. They're not exactly freckles, but they can still be cute. It's okay. It's whatever. There's that. And then I'm also like washing my face in the morning and night nowadays pretty consistently. And that's good. I'm working on introducing more probiotics to my diet. So in Desi culture, we have cultured yogurt, which is our version of probiotics, I guess. So I'm trying to consume more yogurt in general. It's really good for your gut. Frankly, if I don't, then my digestive system lets me know pretty fast that we have not consumed enough. There is that. What else? Um, I don't know. I think I'm almost done talking, actually. There's not really too much else to cover. Oh, da da da. Let's talk about attitude for 1 second. This is actually the crux of why I wanted to start talking about this anyway. And like the whole idea of self-improvement and why there has to be like a moment in time that I'm sitting down to really talk about it and then moving forward. But it's like to even get to this point where I wanted to improve myself, that requires a certain level of not only self-acceptance, but self-love, right? And again, other people have already talked about the difference between that, so I'm not really going to cover that. But the idea is that up until now, with all these like things running around in the background of like all these things that I'm lacking, so-called lacking. But again, we just don't have them yet. We're working on it. There was almost a part of me that was like, I don't deserve to have those things because I'm not worth it at the moment in time or at that time, right? Like there was almost no push to be better because there was no need. There was no motivation to be better. But that motivation can only come if you have that inkling to improve your self-worth. And it had, for me, it had to come from a place of loving myself just a little bit more. And um, that took me a really long time. In fact, there was like an entire 2 years of my life where I just did not look into a mirror, like below my shoulders. Like if I went to the bathroom and I came out, I would literally have laser focus. I would not look in the mirror because I just did not like, I didn't like what was going on there. I have scoliosis, by the way. Didn't really mention that before, but I hated it. I hated it so much. And I hated, it was less just having it, but it was almost like I felt so disempowered. Is that the word? Disempowered, unempowered. But it was almost like I couldn't stop my back from getting worse. Um, and so that loss of control, that feeling of that loss of control, really kind of it dragged my self-esteem so low that I kind of felt other aspects of my life going out of control too. Which is just a weird, I don't know, this is a weird tangent. But I guess the idea that I'm trying to get at here is like it, just because you or me, just because I didn't like what I saw in the mirror for so long, um, just because that was an era, like there's a way to change that. And there's a way to look and be like, actually, no, you're okay. And for me, it was a matter of confrontation. It was a matter of exposure therapy, and really just sitting there with myself and going like, actually, this is just who we are, and that's okay. And it took like 3 years, I think, after that to really get to a place where I was like feeling better. And other things that I did was definitely finding other people who had characteristics similar to mine, that, you know, that I considered attractive and then being like, okay, if they're attractive, why am I not attractive? I have those literal same exact features. Also, that thing that people talk about with styling and figuring out your own personal style, I thought that was all BS. It's not BS, it's very real. Figuring out people who have those traits that you want to emphasize, figuring out how they're emphasizing it, and then like copy as many people as you can until you find what works for you. I might make that a separate thing though, because I feel like that's a whole other topic. And I'm specifically going to be talking about scoliosis probably in that one. But yes, there is a way. Everybody on this planet Earth. Oh, I genuinely believe everyone on planet Earth is beautiful if if they have good intentions. Like anybody who has good intentions in their life, and just people are so beautiful, honestly. Just everyone. I just think everyone's so attractive. Um, And it honestly kind of hurt me that I didn't see the beauty in myself for so long. And I didn't think that there was any worth there. And I don't know. I don't regret that time exactly because I needed to stew in those feelings to grow. But it's uphill from here, is my point. It can go uphill. Anything that went down can come back up. This was I don't even know where I was going with this. But, da, 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 da. There, there will come a time when your relationship with your body it's something that can be worked on. And I hope that anybody watching this who doesn't feel comfortable in their own skin, um, go slow, but there might come a day. There will come a day when that happens. Okay. I really went so far off topic in that moment. Don't really know where I was going with that. Um, what else? Okay. I might end this part of the video there then and move on to our final topic, which is the fun stuff. And then if there's more things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to self-improvement, I might do a part two. But this this channel is also going to be documenting the things that I'm going to work on. Oh, I forgot to say the steps that I'm going to take to work on these things. So what are the things? What am I going to do? First thing is I definitely need to look into a counselor. I am looking into a counseling right now, kind of work through some of these emotions that I've been having. Um, and yeah, that's going to be really good for reconnecting to myself and finding out exactly what it is that I want in life. Um, that's first thing. Next thing is starting exercising a little bit more, prioritizing more of my physical health. So we're keeping this like so ultra simple. It might literally be something like 3 times a day, I am going to get out of this chair and I am going to walk down the hallway and I'm going to come back. Just 3 times a day. I mean, I go to lab too, so like that also can count. I can walk down the hallway once in lab. So 3 times a day, we're just gonna walk for like a minute or 2 minutes. Um, and we're gonna continue with our hydration, which is really great. We're continuing with that. Um, what else? I already spent a lot of time with myself and kind of self-reflecting, but being a little more deliberate about it and really interrogating myself and being like, why am I feeling things that I'm feeling? What's going on there? Yeah, definitely be more intentional about self-reflection, something I want to do. One thing I also really, really need to prioritize is breathing. I don't breathe well, yet. I don't breathe well yet. And so I'm going to breathe better. I'm going to work on my breath so that I can have healthy lungs and a healthy system because that's good. So those are like the 4 things that I am working on actively right now. Was that even 4 things? I forgot what number I'm on. Then after this, we'll check in once I feel like I've gotten these 4 things down. Oh, and keeping my space clean. Okay, that's 5 things. 5 simple things that I'm going to be putting into place from today to improve my life. Okay, that was all that. Last thing, we're gonna talk about Arcane for a minute. Literally just a minute, because I don't have a lot to say except for the fact that I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Y'all, it's coming out, first part's coming out tomorrow. I've been waiting for this. I recently got into like I've always been really into media analysis. And then in undergrad, I took a couple of film classes where they taught us how to look at media and dissect, the directorial choices and, the background, the context of when the movie was made and how those directorial choices maybe a commentary or just like playing into the story elements and filming styles. It was so much fun. I loved that class. So I took another one. So I took two, right? And those were like in a very European, or not European, very Western context. Right. I live in the US. I don't know why I said European. One of the classes was about Hollywood movies. My brain is weird. Okay. So right, so that was all that. And then um I have become like the most annoying person to watch any media with because I will sit here with whoever it is and be like, hey, did you see the camera tilt right there? Did you see the saturation change? And do you know what that means in this context? Like, do you know? I'm I try not to be obnoxious about it, but I'm very excited. Like when I can tell that a director has made so many choices, and when the story elements have made there were a lot of deliberate reasons for things happening, I get so hyped. And so recently I've gotten really into Arcane's lore and writing and the League of Legends background. So where these characters, like what context are they coming from? And the story of Arcane itself is so like I've gotten into watching people talk about it because I personally am not a league I'm not a league player. So I don't really know a lot about the world that it's coming from, Runeterra. Like I didn't know anything going into the show. So the whole time that I was watching it originally, I was watching it with my brother and he like had already seen it once and he was showing it to me. So he would sometimes point things out because he knows that I like them. He's not a lead player either. It's like neither of us were watching it because we were lead knowledgeable. We were watching it because of the story being like that good. The story is so good. Okay. Just as an independent story, as somebody who knows nothing about this world, I had such a good time watching it. And the way they weaved in different plot lines, the way they did that time skip from like going from the child characters to them growing up, like the more kind of analysis videos that I've watched about it, the more I was like, whoa, like like the story is so good. And the characters, I think, for me, but that was like the biggest, strongest point. The characters were so, in my opinion, well written. They felt so real to me. Like Vi in particular, I think she's possibly one of my favorite characters in a media, period. Um, and some of these things that other YouTubers were talking about was like, obviously Kate and Vi's relationship. Obsessed with that, honestly. I was living my best life watching that play out on the screen. But like kind of the foils between characters, you've got these like people, like these privileged topsiders, and you've got the citizens of Zon who have like, you know, they're kind of like a lower class, but then, Silco's role in, bringing them up and wanting them to be on the same level as the Piltoverian, Pil- Piltoni. I haven't been watching enough of this apparently. Okay, but my idea is like there's just so many like, different character dynamics, like Silco and Jinx, and then Jinx and Vi and Kate. Oh, I think the most interesting thing that I want to see play out more is this Jinx and Kate kind of parallel. I hope we see a lot of interesting things in season two. Um, I saw a video kind of talking about parallels. I haven't watched it yet, but that's what I'm probably gonna do after this, maybe. Um, but like they both have similar, not exactly similar, but they play a similar role in the narrative, if that makes sense, in the relation to Vi's or being Vi's like focus or being an important person to Vi, which like for the narrative is important. If you are an important person to Vi, you are an important part of the narrative. Um, I just like the whole shooting. They both have long range weapons. I don't know. I just think that's so interesting. Like there's a lot of superficial but also deep parallels they have. That's cool. This is just a ramble. Everyone can leave now. By the way, I'm just talking to talk. I'm also super hyped. I watched a lot of like the all the teasers as well. Vi's whole little boxing journey being like a Piltover approved boxing ring. Like how did that even happen? She's beating up the same guy she's beat up multiple times. That's a funny little nod. Um, just her whole arc there. I feel like they're gonna really. She's already been through the ringer. I love her so much. That's why I keep talking about her. But like, she's already been through the ringer. How on earth? Why? First of all, why are they torturing her more? But then also, do it. Do it. Let me see it. Let me see it play out. Let me see how she gets herself out of this one. I'm excited. I'm excited to see her emotional journey, her emotional growth. Um, yes, I'm so excited to see her again. I've been thinking about this for like ever since the teasers and trailers came out. I have been seated. I have been seated and ready. And yeah. That was a whole lot of rambling about nothing. But I am just very excited. I'm excited. I'm so excited that I thought it'd be really bad if I didn't get a chance to talk about it. But like my brother's like the only one in my real life who's seen Arcane. Well, that's not true. There's been a couple other people, but he's like the only other person in my life, and he's busy right now, so I can't talk about it with him. So that's why I'm talking about it here. I digress. I hope, I hope you're doing well. Anybody who has stuck around to the end, thanks for sticking around. I hope you continue to decide to stick around and come along and learn something with me and maybe if you want to follow along and improve yourself too, if you feel like that's something you need to do, that could be good. But otherwise, I will see you all next time. Probably for I actually don't even know what the next one's gonna be about. We'll find out when I make it. It honestly might just be me. Yeah, I don't know if the next one's gonna be a fun one or a not fun one, but they're all gonna be learning is still fun. Okay. Whether it's going to be like an educational one or like a fun video. I don't know yet. Probably educational though, because there's things that I want to learn like at this moment in time about disability advocacy. And then obviously once I learn it, I'll share it. So we'll see. We'll see where we're going with that. I don't know yet. I'm excited though. I'm really excited. I'm really hyped about this personal journey that I'm about to go on. So until then, I hope you stay well. I hope you take care of yourself and um I don't know. I just really hope I'm sending you love. That's all. All right. See you all next time. Bye.